Before he became the ruler of the dead, Osiris was a king of the living. In an age when gods walked among humans, Osiris ruled Egypt not with fear, but with wisdom. Under his reign, the land flourished. The Nile obeyed its cycles. Crops grew from barren soil. Law replaced chaos. To the people of Egypt, Osiris was more than a king. He was the embodiment of order, justice, and life itself. But light always casts a shadow, and in that shadow waited betrayal. Jealousy grew in the heart of his brother Set, the god of disorder, storms, and the endless desert. Where Osiris brought harmony, Set desired dominion. What followed was not just a murder, but a crime that shattered the balance of the cosmos. A king was deceived, a god was torn apart, and death entered the world for the first time. Yet this is not a story that ends in darkness, because from betrayal came resurrection. From death came judgment, and from a fallen king rose the eternal ruler of the afterlife. This is the story of Osiris, the god who died, the king who returned, and the judge before whom every soul must one day stand. Osiris ruled Egypt in an age remembered as a golden era. As king, he did not conquer through violence. He taught humanity how to live. Osiris brought agriculture to the land, revealing the secrets of grain and harvest. He established laws, rituals, and moral order, binding the people to Maat, the sacred balance of truth, justice, and harmony. Under his reign, Egypt prospered. The Nile flooded as it should. The people honored the gods, and chaos was held at bay. But not all welcomed this order. In the shadows watched Set, Osiris's brother, god of storms, deserts, and disorder. Where Osiris embodied life and renewal, Set embodied violence, envy, and upheaval. Set desired the throne. And so he devised a plan not of open war, but of deception. At a grand royal banquet, Set presented a magnificent chest, crafted of precious wood, inlaid with gold, perfect in every measurement. He announced a game. The chest would belong to whoever fit inside it exactly. One by one, the guests tried and failed. When Osiris stepped inside, the trap was sprung. Set slammed the lid shut. He sealed it with molten lead. And before anyone could react, the chest was carried away and cast into the waters of the Nile. Thus, Osiris, king and god, was entombed alive. The river carried the chest far from Egypt, across seas, until it came to rest in Byblos, where a great tree grew around it, concealing the body of the fallen king within its trunk. But the story did not end there. For Isis, queen of magic and devotion, refused to accept death. Clad in mourning, she searched tirelessly across lands and waters, guided by grief, love, and divine knowledge. Her journey was not swift. It was filled with danger, deception, and sorrow. Yet at last, she found the chest, and with reverence returned Osiris's body to Egypt. But Set discovered the truth. In a final act of cruelty, he seized the body of Osiris and tore it apart. Piece by piece, Osiris was dismembered, his body scattered across the land so that he could never be whole again. It was an act meant to erase him from existence. Yet Isis would not yield. Joined by her sister Nephthys and aided by Thoth, god of wisdom, she gathered the scattered remains of Osiris from every corner of Egypt. Where each piece was found, a shrine would later rise. With the guidance of Anubis, the god of embalming and guardian of the dead, Isis performed a sacred ritual never seen before. The body was wrapped in linen, spells were spoken, organs were preserved. The first mummification was born. Through magic and devotion, Osiris was restored, not to the world of the living, but to something far greater. He would not return as king of Egypt. He would return as lord of the underworld. From that moment on, death was no longer the end, but a passage. Osiris did not return to the world of the living. Instead, he descended into Duat, the hidden realm beyond death, and there he took his final throne. Seated in silence, Osiris became the eternal judge of souls. Before him, every spirit would one day stand, kings and peasants alike, the powerful and the forgotten. In the hall of judgment, the heart of the dead was placed upon a scale, balanced against the feather of Maat, the symbol of truth, justice, and cosmic order. If the heart was light, untainted by cruelty, greed, or betrayal, the soul was welcomed into the field of reeds, a perfect reflection of life where peace and abundance lasted forever. But if the heart was heavy with sin, it was devoured by Ammit, and the soul was erased, not punished, but forgotten. To the ancient Egyptians, this was the greatest fear of all. For Osiris did not judge power, he judged how one lived. Through his death and resurrection, Osiris transformed the meaning of mortality itself. Death was no longer an ending. It became a test, a passage, a mirror held up to the soul. To die was not to vanish, but to face the truth of one's life. Osiris taught that resurrection was not guaranteed. It was earned, through righteousness, through balance, through harmony with Ma'at. And so, every tomb, every prayer, every ritual was a declaration of hope. Hope that death could be overcome. Hope that justice endured beyond the grave. Hope that life, though fragile, was not meaningless. In the eyes of Osiris, the cycle of death and rebirth mirrored the Nile itself. It receded, it returned, and in that eternal rhythm, life found meaning. Osiris, the murdered king, became the immortal judge. And through him, the ancient Egyptians believed one truth above all, that no life ends in darkness, only in judgment. And beyond judgment, eternity waits.